Hello. Another video, another day, another time in the time continuum where I'm literally doing these as I feel up to them. Which honestly hasn't been for a few days. It's a lot to like make an hour and a half, 2 hours of content per day for a while. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're looking at day 16. Let's not do that to you guys for too long. Day 16 is on the docket today. Oh, is it 16? Is I saying that right? Yeah, 16. Yeah, absolutely 16. Here we are. Task 22, which is day 16. The Wereville's key vault grew 3 sizes that day. Well then, all right. Let's turn off the music and let's go. This looks to be an Azure one. This is something I haven't super deeply researched, so we're going to see how we do. Something I decided on pretty much in a video I did for day 22, which was before this one, because logic, is that if there are things you can do that are, if it's accessible enough to do, I'll try not to always do the entire thing on video, just to give people something to do. I'll put the answers in case you can't figure it out or you can't get to it. But if there is like literally no other obstacle than anybody else would have, I may not always show the exact way to do it because it's right there in the instructions. Day 23 in particular, I think I'll literally just make sure that you have the machine working and then ready, and then you can just do the rest yourself, because it really is just running a few commands and the task tells you very clearly what to do. In something like this though, I will go through it because it might be quite a bit more complicated for screen reader users if you haven't seen this interface before or anything of that sort. So it depends on the video. And again, like I said, this is day 16, which I'm recording after day 20, 21, and 22, which I did in one day. Tip, don't do that, it's too much. Anyway, yeah, 16. I hope to be able to do 17 today and then do 23 and 24 maybe after Christmas, because we have until the 31st to send these in to do the things. So if I do them all on the 27th and they're done, you guys still have like several days to fill in all the answers and get your raffle tickets in. So, got to think of myself too here. Let me turn the dings and dongs off for a second because it's a bit much. Otherwise, there. All right. Let us read the story. Azure Day 16, like I said, the Wereville's key vault grew 3 sizes this year. The story. We don't even get the alt for the banner this time. There's no banner. Okay. Another day, another challenge, and unfortunately for McSkitty, another intrusion in their Azure tenant. Before joining McSkitty in her investigation, there's some catching up to do, and this is a story best told in rhyme. Now, here we go again. As Sockmas approached, so did the need to provide those without with something to read. Carewares tried. Careforwares tried. They made it their mission. A gift for all wares, a Sockmas tradition. Oh dear. McSkitty logged on and felt some confusion and alerts saying here, a detected intrusion. Inspection began as to what was at fault. It seems access was gained to McSkitty's key vault. That somehow sounds dirty. So, what do you think of my poem reading voice? There you go. She checked and she checked as she had to be sure, but it hadn't been long since adopting Azure. That works in British English, to be fair. Troubleshooting ensued. Ideas had been tabled, which would have been great if logs were enabled. With 3 hours slept and no records kept, McSkitty then knew what she needed to do. It's true that on her, this town does depend, but to find what was wrong, she needed a friend. So clearing her throat and preparing her pitch, she picked up her phone and called up the glitch. It was late, too late. McSkitty's eyelids felt as though they had dumbbells attached to them. The sun had long since waved goodbye to Wereville, and the crisp night air was creeping in through the window of McSkitty's office. If only there were a substance which could both warm and wake her up. when McSkitty's brain cells had started functioning again and remembered that coffee existed. Checking her watch, she was saddened to learn it was too late to get her coffee from her favorite Wareville coffee house, Splunkin' Donuts. Splunkin' Donuts, didn't see that one coming. The vending machine downstairs would have to do. Sipping her coffee, McSkitty immediately lit up and charged back into the office, ready to crack the case. However, as she entered, the glitch had an idea of his own. He'd got it, and he figured out an attack vector the user had likely taken. McSkitty took a seat next to the glitch, and he began to walk it through. Learning objectives. Learn about Azure, what it is and why it is used. Learn about Azure services like Azure Key Vault and Microsoft Entra ID. Learn how to interact with an Azure tenant using Azure Cloud Shell. Alright, I have no idea how accessible all this is, so we're going to find out together. Intro to Azure. Before diving into Glitch's idea of the attacker's path, let's introduce some of the key concepts that will be covered in the process. We are going to start by introducing Azure. To do that, let's consider why McSkitty is using Azure in the first place. It all started when McSkitty's role as the cybersecurity expert of Wareville really started to take off. Before she knew it, McSkitty was in very high demand and needed to create all kinds of resources to help her organize her duties. These included a web application to handle appointment making, multiple machines running for investigations, and more machines running for evidence storing and analysis. McSkitty hosted and managed all of these machines herself, that is, on premises. This initially wasn't a massive issue because, after all, she wasn't a corporation but just helping the citizens of Wareville with cybersecurity matters. However, as time went on, McSkitty ran into issues during peak times when she would receive many requests for help and therefore needed to process more evidence. All of this increased demand meant McSkitty had to scale up her resources to handle the load. To put a long story short, this was a lot of hassle for McSkitty. She wished there was a way for someone to handle her infrastructure on her behalf, especially when scaling her resources up during peak times and down when they resumed. When they resumed? Reduced, I think they mean here. That's when Azure came to the rescue. Azure is a CSP, cloud service provider, and CSPs, others include Google Cloud and AWS, provide computing resources such as computing power on demand in a highly scalable fashion. In other words, McSkitty could instead have Azure manage her underlying infrastructure, scaling it in times of increased demand and decreasing it once traffic resumed to normal levels. Reduced to normal levels, or resumed being on normal. You can't use resume that way. That's not how that verb works. Whatever. The best bit, McSkitty only has to pay for what she uses. Done were the days of buying physical infrastructure to handle increased loads, only for that infrastructure to go unused the majority of the time. Someone is really hyping up Azure here. This is also very similar to what we saw about AWS a little earlier in this challenge. It makes me wonder if they got a little clap, handy clap with Microsoft and a couple of other parties going on to sponsor this event. Maybe that would not surprise me, honestly. Anyway, Azure and cloud adoption in general boasts many benefits beyond cost optimization. Azure also gave McSkitty access to loads of cloud services, ranging from identity management to data ingestion. Quite frankly, there are more services than can be abbreviated in a sentence, as at the time of writing, there are over 200. These services can be used to build, deploy, and manage McSkitty's current infrastructure, as well as give her the options to upgrade or build new applications in the future, given the range of services available. Azure better frickin' sponsor this video at this point. I'm literally shilling for Azure at this point. A couple of Azure services will come up during the glitch's attack path. Let's take a look at them now. Okay, Azure Key Vault, that's not a heading, but it should be one. Azure Key Vault is an Azure service that allows users to securely store and access secrets. These secrets can be anything from API keys, certificates, passwords, cryptographic keys, and more. Essentially, anything you want to keep safe, away from the eyes of others, and easily configure and restrict access to it, which you want to store in an Azure Key Vault. Yeah. Again, very similar to the same thing we saw on AWS earlier. The secrets are stored in vaults, which are created by vault owners. Vault owners have full access and control over the vault, including the ability to enable auditing, so a record is kept of who access what secrets and grant permissions for other users to access the vault, known as vault consumers. McSkitty used this service to store secrets related to evidence and has been entrusted to store some of the Wareville's town secrets here. Then we have Microsoft Entra ID. Microsoft also needed a way to grant users access to her system and be able to secure and organize their access easily. So a Wareville town member could easily access or update their secret. Microsoft Entra ID, formerly known as Azure Active Directory, is Azure's solution. Entra ID is an identity and access management IAM service. In short, it has the information needed to assess whether a user/application can access X resource. X is social media now, you can't use that way. Anyway, in the case of the Wareville town members, they made an Entra ID account and McSkitty assigned the appropriate permissions to this account. With that covered, let's see what the glitch has come up with. Assumed breach scenario. Knowing that a potential breach had happened, McSkitty decided to conduct an assumed breach testing within their Azure tenant. I don't think you can English that way, but okay. The assumed breach scenario is a type of penetration testing setup in which an initial access or foothold is provided, mimicking the scenario in which an attacker has already established its access inside the internal network. In this setup, the mindset is to assess how far an attacker can go once they get inside your network, including all possible attack paths that could branch out from the defined starting point of intrusion. Connecting to the environment. So this is not a machine we're connecting to this time. This is some kind of web-based cloud thing. Before moving forward, review the questions in the connection card shown below. We have no alt text whatsoever for that one. For this assumed breach testing of Wareville's tenant, McSkitty will provide valid credentials. To get the credentials, click the Cloud Details button below. Okay, Cloud Details. What do you got? Okay, so we have a little modal that has an environment tab and a credentials tab, and the environment tab has a join lab button. I guess we need to press that first and foremost before anything else can happen, so let's do that. I've pressed it. It says lab state joined. Oh, joined. That was fast. Damn. Okay, we're already joined. Expires in about an hour, so we have to be quick. Gotcha. So the lab is joined. I guess we now go to the credentials thing. Here we go. Credentials tab. What does this have? This has lab ID. This is a number. We have a copy, and we have a username, which is very long. USR, bunch of numbers, aoc.onmicrosoft.com. Okay. Got a password, which is hidden. But I don't see a link to actually go to the lab. Interesting. Let me really quickly copy these credentials. Here is the password. Here is the username. We have a, what is it? Lab ID. Yeah, lab ID 122539. Okay, whatever. Yep. Write that down. Lab ID. sure this will come in handy at some point. Paste, please. Thank you. All right, so anything else we need to do in here? Let me get some speech going here. Slow that down a bit as well. There we go. Is this going to the right place? Can you guys hear it? Yes, you can. Beautiful. Anything in here? Oh, there's an open lab button. There you go. Okay, let's do that. Open it. Well, now you can see that I study at SNHU. Very nice. Use another account. Enter your email, phone, the phone, or Skype. I'm assuming we use the thing we just got, USR, whatever it is. There. Paste this in. It's better not ask me for 2FA because I don't have any. Password is this thing, this long string right here. All right, what's it say?
Speech mode beeps. Speed your organization requires additional security information. Follow the prompts to download and set up the Microsoft Authenticator app. Link use a different account.
I'm sorry, what? No.
Link learn you have 14 days until this is required. Ask later. Working.
Piss off.
Speech mode off.
There we go. This is a dummy account. I'm not gonna add MFA to a dummy account. You can write off. All right, let's see. Where are we? What is this? Microsoft Azure. All right. Yeah, here we are. Okay, we can close this now. We are in the lab.
Menu visited. Link navigate the dashboard.
Okay, cloud details, get back to where we were, there we go. Next, click the Join Lab button to generate your credentials. I've already done that. All right. This is an alt text with generating credentials for Azure. I see graphics now. Oh, there is alt text, we just didn't see them. The alt text for this connection card is connection card for cloud access and credentials. Yeah, thank you. Not helpful at all. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep going. Cloud details. Yeah, we did all the things here. We added that. Then we have generating credentials for Azure. Okay. You may view the credentials by clicking the Credentials tab. Yeah, we already did that. To use the credentials, click the Open Lab button in the Environment tab. This will open the Azure portal login page. So kindly use the recently generated credentials to authenticate to the Azure portal. Going to the Azure portal via the Open Lab button, alt text. After logging in, you will encounter a MFA configuration prompt. Kindly click the Ask Later button to proceed. Kindly, this is an interesting phrase. Skipping the MFA configuration. Okay, lastly, click the Cancel button when prompted with the Welcome to Microsoft Azure banner. Okay. Did I see that yet?
Feedback support plus main landmark Azure services at banner menu collapsed. Grammar out of grouping main landmark link edit on Google Play. Link now heading link quick start set dial blank.
Oh, here.
Skip the main dialog. Heading level 2 welcome to Microsoft Azure.
Amusingly, that dialog is just sort of misbuilt, so we never actually touch it. And it's just really funny. Huh? No. Let's see, this way. Welcome to Microsoft Azure. Cancel. There. How do you plan to use Azure? Like, this is one of those interesting things where I'm like, to do with Azure in my information under got it. Fuck off. I see this more and more often. Like, supposedly it's to help you. Basically to help you like use the resource as it was meant to be used. Like it's going to give you like better recommendations, or like it's going to give you some starting points. More and more often when I just want to get something small done, I get all these prompts about, rate our app, do this, do that, log in, sign up for the newsletter, accept the cookies. And I was like, seriously? All I came to do was press one button. Now I've had to press 7 because of all these dumb prompts. Anyway. We're on the wrong page. This way. Note, the Azure portal may default to your local language, so you may follow these steps if you prefer to switch to English. 1. Click on the settings icon in the top panel. On the right-hand side, click on language and region. Change the language to English or your preferred choice using the drop-down below. For mine, it's in English, which is actually surprising because things do have an annoying tendency of doing that here, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, Azure Cloud Shell. Azure Cloud Shell is a browser-based command line interface that provides developers and IT professionals a convenient and powerful way to manage Azure resource. Again, seriously, sponsor this video, Azure. I'm shilling so hard for you right now. It integrates both Bash and PowerShell environments, allowing users to execute scripts, manage Azure services, and run commands directly from their web browser without needing local installation. Hey, you want to bet it's not accessible? We'll see. Cloud Shell has built-in tools and pre-configured environments, including Azure CLI, Azure PowerShell, and popular development tools, making it an efficient solution for cloud management and automation tasks. Azure CLI, Azure Command Line Interface, or CLI, is a command line tool for managing and configuring Azure resources. The glitch relied heavily on this tool while reviewing the Wareville tenant, so let's use the same one while walking through the Azure attack path. As mentioned above, Azure CLI is part of the built-in tools inside the Cloud Shell. So go back to the Azure portal and launch Azure Cloud Shell by clicking on the terminal icon shown below. Graphic, Azure Portal Cloud Shell button. Let's see if we can find this here button. Yes, there's a button that literally says Cloud Shell. It's collapsible. We'll press enter, see what the screen reader does.
Cloud Shell collapsed. Expanded.
Okay.
Dialog. Document. Hands. Heading. Graphic. Heading level 2. Welcome to Azure Cloud Shell.
Why, thank you.
Cancel. Select Bash or PowerShell. You can change shells anytime via the environment selector in the cloud. Shell toolbar. The most Bash. Shell toolbar. The most recently used environment will be the default for your next session.
Okay, let's see what it wants us to pick. Since we will be using Azure,
Graphic Azure. Select Bash.
Select Bash since we will be using Azure CLI commands. Okay.
Bash.
Bash
Dialog.
it is.
Document. Cancel. Button. Cancel. Select the subscription to get started. You can heading level 2. Getting start. Cancel. Select the subscription.
Select the subscription to get started. You can optionally mount a storage account. Let's see what it says for us. To get started, select no storage account required and choose AZ subs AOC for the subscription.
Dial between session radio. No storage account. Radio checked.
No storage account is already turned on, so you don't need to do anything there.
Radio not mount storage account. Save subscription star. Subscription checkbox not checked. Use an existing private virtual network link. Learn more. Check subscription combo box collapsed. Required opens list select.
Okay, we need to select the one here.
Your deployment failed dialog. Heading level 2. Your deployment failed. Can't blank. Region undefined. Error details.
Okay, well I just pressed down arrow on the drop down. That's apparently something you're not supposed to be doing.
Heading level 1 close confirmation. Cancel. Your unsaved edits will be discarded. Close. Home. Microsoft Azure document. Home.
Let's do this again.
Expanded Cloud Shell.
See, this is why I do these kinds of things. I definitely will go through them because it can get stupid annoying sometimes accessibility-wise.
Heading level 2 getting started. No storage account require all files. No
we don't need a storage account. We press enter and then we press alt down arrow because apparently you can't just hit down arrow.
Selected 2 of 2.
We press the AZ-sub/AOC. There, that's now selected. Very cool. It says use a existing private virtual network. I don't think we need to do that, but let's have a look. Initial Azure Cloud Shell prompt. At this point, we are ready to execute Azure. Okay, so we're supposed to just leave that alone and press the apply button, I'm guessing. Let's press apply, see if it fails again. No, we're fine. It's this thing. Okay. So this is one of those terminals that is like half accessible. Let me show you what I mean. Oh, it's not even this. It's not even that. It won't even tell you.
Menu out of grouping tools grouping menu item menu
or is it just not loaded yet?
Menu out of main landmark link get it on Google Play link download link main content divider for Cloud Shell content separator 300. Toolbar menu bar tools grouping menu light out of grouping window modification grouping menu item minimum out of grouping out of menu bar enter CTRL Alt R to turn on screen reader support.
Turn on Control Alt R to turn on screen reader support. Now that is easy to miss. I also don't know why that's not just on by default, but let's turn on the screen reader support. Control Alt R, here we go. Okay, I pressed it.
List with 13 land current session. Your Cloud Shell session will be ephemeral, so no files or system. Land type help to learn about type of land. Welcome to Azure Cloud Shell. Land type Oz to use Azure CLI. Land connecting terminal. Request out of list enter. CTRL Alt R to turn on screen reader support.
I don't know. Did we turn it on? Did it work?
LS. $12,253,599.
It does look like it worked.
S. $12,250,000. /home/$12,000,000.
What's really interesting is that on the Braille display, it's also showing me what I would expect to see as a command line shell. So apparently the screen reader stuff is on. Would have been nice to give us a little confirmation about that, because I'm actually not sure if it is, but hey, whatever. Note that all the following commands are to be executed in the Azure Cloud Shell. Azure Cloud Shell, okay. As add. You don't need to authenticate using a login, as you have already been authenticated into the Azure portal. You can confirm that the credentials worked if the succeeding output renders the authenticated user details. Okay. So what? Is that one command or two? Hang on.
Add a context. HTTPS business given it job name mobile.
We got a whole bunch of JSON here that we're apparently supposed to see. Let's see. What was that command?
At this graphic get start graph at the Azure Cloud Shell.
Yeah. AZAD signed in user show. Okay, so it's one command. This whole thing.
AZAD
signed -in -user show.
Copy to Star Lab.
All right. This thing.
Paste. M.
Huh?
Land list with 13 items. /home/ 12,200,000. Term no next edit.
That didn't work.
Paste. Land. Land. PWD. Land.
Pasting is clearly not working.
Paste. Land. Back.
All right, Control Shift V maybe? Yeah, that worked. Okay, so it's Control Shift P to paste in this for some inexplicable reason.
Add a context. https://graph.microsoft.com/v1.0/ $metadata.
Sounds right. All right.
/home/
Yeah. Yeah, not loving how this terminal works. It seems a little clunky, honestly, but hey, there we go. Yeah, we got the right information to come out, and we're going down the Azure, what is it? Going down the Azure rabbit hole. When the glitch got hold of the initial account in Wareville's Azure tenant, he had no idea what was inside it. So he decided to enumerate first the existing users and groups within the tenant. Okay. Entra ID enumeration. Using the current account, let's start by listing all the users in the tenant. Note, this command might take a while depending on the amount of user accounts available, so feel free to skip it. All right, we're skipping it. So it would be AZAD user list. The Azure CLI usually takes the following command syntax: AZ, group, subgroup, action. Optional parameters. Given that the command above can be broken down into target group of the service AD, Azure AD or Entra ID, target subgroup user, Azure AD user, action, list. Yeah. Note, to see available commands, you may execute the AZ-H or AZ group-H to find the okay. After executing a command, you might have been overwhelmed with the number of accounts listed. For a better view, let's follow McSkitty's suggestion. Only look for the accounts prepended with WVUSR. According to her, these accounts are more interesting than the other ones. To do this, we will use the filter parameter and filter all accounts that start with WVUSR. Okay, it's kind of weird. You just sort of shoehorn in like a suggestion that wasn't made yet, but okay. So it's AD user list -- filter, and then the quote starts with quote WVUSR dash quote display name. Okay, wow. Gotta say that's clunky syntax. Okay, you may observe that an unusual parameter was set to a specific account in the output. One of the users, WVUSR-backupware has its password stored in one of the fields. Azure Cloud Shell, okay. Okay, it says business phone, display name, US backware, given name null, ID, a whole bunch of ID. Job title null, mail null, mobile phone nil, office location redacted. Preferred language 0, surname no, user principal name. Yeah, the whole thing. When the glitch saw this one, he immediately thought it could be the first step taken by the intruder to gain further access inside the tenant. However, he decided to continue the initial reconnaissance of users and groups. Okay, well, let us not do that quite yet. Let us first grab that information, because it looks like that user, that backup user that I found may have, like, it has something redacted. And when I see redacted on this website, it usually means this is going to be a question later. So I'm going to actually cheat a tiny bit here. And we're not going to look for WV user. We're going to look for that exact username. So we have it. So we have all the important stuff, because I think otherwise, I think this terminal is not accessible enough to keep all stuff in memory. I think it scrolls off the screen pretty quick. So I want to make sure that we don't run into that particular issue. Let's go to our little notepad here for a second. And take this command and modify it. So it starts with WVUSR. And instead of this, I'm going to actually look for this one here, backupware. So I'm going to use this. And we should only see one user at that point. Going to remove
speed out of tick, comma,
this.
tick.
So within the quotes, remove all the bits. Put this new stuff in.
Out of tick.
Copy that whole command into the Azure.
Lab ID 12,253,599. Lab undo. Star lab ID.
Yeah, that's on me. That's my bad.
Spelling error. Ozad user list. Ozad user list. Filter.
There we go.
Home. Micro.
This is what you paste in. Here we go.
Ozad user list. Filter starts with backupware. Display name bash lab command not found bash 12.
Yep.
AM. Ozad user list. Filter starts with backupware. Display name greater.
What?
Greater.
Oh man.
Bash $94 LU87JN Ozad user list.
Yeah, it's having a moment. Hang on.
ID 12 spelling error. Ozad user list.
As soon as filter quote starts with
land out of land quote land quote right spell MANYALESID out of comma tick spelling RA S out of space quote space RE.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. It should have worked. Let's try it again.
Copy home Microsoft Dash Ozad user list. Filter starts with backupware. Display name. Ozad user list. Filter starts with backupware. Display name. Ozad user list. Filter starts with backupware. Display name. Business phones. Display name. Backupware. Given name. Null. Id. 1 decimal 95,432-0C46-45 B8. Land. Backup. Preferred job title. Null. Mail. Preferred language. Null. Surname. Null. User principal name. Job is Ozad list with 13 items out of display name. Backupware.
Let's just go through these real quick to see what's in here. Display name is what we just set. Business is empty. Display name is right here. Given name is null. ID is this thing. Job title, mail, mobile phone. Office location is recover secrets. That looks like a flag. Let's copy that out.
R3Cs, ZV3, Rs line S3Cs, R3Ts S selected. Bang selected. Quote select quote unselected. Copy to clipboard. Star lab. Ozad user list. Paste.
There. It's in my little notepad. Anything else in here is active true, issuer disable, false. Okay, nothing else in here that's important. Okay.
Azure business give it job mode speech mode off.
When the glitch saw this one, yeah, he's gonna continue on doing the stuff. Yeah, okay. List. Yep. Now we're going to look at groups, AZ and group list. So same deal as we had before. I see another, redacted for brevity. Good, we don't have to do this. Group for recovering secrets. Display name, secret recovery group. All right. Redacted for brevity, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Note, you may observe that we just changed the previous command from AD user to AD group. Yeah, I did notice that. Very good. Given the output, it can be seen the group named secret recovery group exists. This is kind of an interesting group because of the description. So let's follow the white rabbit and list the members of this group. We're going full on Matrix references here, aren't we? Okay. Let's see, AZ AD group member list dash dash group quote secret recovery group. Okay, well, we're not going to do that either unless there's like a redacted in here. Business phone, display, redacted for brevity, so we can leave that alone. Given the previous output, it looks like everything makes a little sense now. All of the previous commands seem to point to the WVUSR-backupware account. Since we have seen a potential set of credentials, let's jump on another user by clearing the current Azure CLI account session and logging in with the new account. Okay, so we do... I haven't seen credentials, but okay.
Microsoft Azure terminal input edit.
AZ account clear.
Logout successful. Relogin to your initial Cloud Shell identity with Oz login. Identity. Login with a new identity with Oz login. Usr 12,200.
Okay, we did that.
Usrec lang. Note. Replace the values with the actual email and password of the newly discovered account. Usrec $Oz log.
Oz email password. I did not see an email and a password in that though.
Home. Lang. Oz account clear. Lang. Oz list with a logout. Usr 12 million. User principal name. User surname, null. Preferred language, null. Office location, R3C0V3R.
Yeah, we got that stuff.
Office location, R3C mobile phone, null. Mail, null. Job title, null. Id, 1 decibel 95,000 out of list, enter. CTRL, toolbar menu bar out of grouping out of menu bar, enter. CTR list with 13 items, id, 1 decibel 95.
Job title, mail, it's all empty. Huh. Very weird.
Try Acme Advanced. Lang note. Replace the values with Azure all assignments. Speech mode off.
Okay, well, we'll see if we need this stuff later. And otherwise we'll have to look it up what the things are. Since the Vivir user backupware account belongs to an interesting group, the glitch's first hunch is to see whether sensitive or privileged roles are assigned to the code. And his thought was, it doesn't make sense to name it like this if it can't do anything, right, McSkitty? But before checking the assigned roles, let's have a quick run through of Azure role assignments. Azure role assignments define the resources that each role user can access. When a new user is created via Entra ID, it cannot access any resource by default due to a lack of role. To grant access, an administrator must assign a role to let users view or manage a specific resource. The privileged level configured in the role ranges from read-only to full control. Additionally, group members can inherit a role when assigned to a group. Returning to the Azure enumeration, let's see if a role is assigned to the secret recovery group. Okay, we will use the all option and list all roles within the Azure subscription, and we will be using the -- assignee option with the group's ID to render. Okay, fuck ton of JSON. I'm very cursy today. I'm very sorry. Yeah, blah blah blah. It's gonna probably explain the output we're seeing. There's a lot of output. I'm not gonna read it all out loud because there's quite a lot here. Note, you may retrieve the group ID from the command executed previously, azad group list. The output seems slightly overwhelming, so let's break it down. First, it can be seen that there are 2 entries in the output, which means 2 roles are assigned to the group. Based on the role definition name field, the 2 roles are Key Vault Reader and Key Vault Secrets User. Both entries have the same scope value, pointing to the Microsoft Key Vault resource, specifically on the Wareville Secrets Vault. Here's the definition of the roles based on the Microsoft documentation. Oh god, this one is really... Okay, so we got key vault reader. Microsoft definition is read metadata of key vaults and its certificates, keys, and secrets. And the explanation is the role allows you to read metadata of key vaults and its certificates, keys, and secrets. Cannot read sensitive values such as secret contents or key material. All right, and then we have secrets key vault user. Microsoft's thing is read secret content. Only works for key vaults that use the Azure role-based access control permission model. And the explanation says this special role allows you to read the contents of a key vault secret. All right. After seeing both of the roles, McSkitty immediately realized everything. This configuration allowed the attacker to access the sensitive data they were protecting. Now that she knew this, she asked the glitch to confirm her assumption. All right. Azure Key Vault. With McSkitty's guidance, the glitch is now tasked to verify if the current account, WVUSR-backupware, can access the sensitive data. Let's list the accessible key vaults by executing the command below. It's AZ key vault list. All right. Location, East US, yeah, all things. Wareville Secrets is the main one, it looks like. Let's see, it's the other ones. No, this seems to be the main one. Okay. The output above confirms the key vault discovery from the role assignments name Wareville Secrets. Okay. Now let's see if secrets are stored in this key vault. You do AZ key vault secret list -- vault name Wareville Secrets, which is not dashed or capitalized or anything. Redacted for brevity. We see an ID. That's a URL. Why is an ID a URL? Okay. Name redacted. Well, that's a little bummer because we don't have a way to access this account currently. We don't know how to get in there. After executing the Kubernetes commands, we confirm that the reader role allows you to view the key vault metadata, specifically the list of key vaults and secrets. Now, the only thing left to confirm is whether the current user can access the contents of that secret. Yep. Okay. No, that's probably very simple. AZ key vault secret show, and then vault name Wareville Secrets and name redacted, the name that we no doubt need to put in there. And then we see an ID again. It's just a URL, it looks like, with a key ID, I guess, but it's shortened to KID, which I find funny. Managed, name, redacted, yep. Value redacted. So there's the name and value that we currently cannot see. No, replace the value of the dash name parameter with the actual middle name. Yeah, okay. Bingo. The glitch exclaimed as you saw the output above. Mosquito had confirmed her nightmare that a regular user could escalate their way into the secret of Wareville. With that, the glitch had helped McSkitty to find the attack path that had been taken to escalate a user's privileges, and a lot had been learned in the process. The only questions that remained was who had initially carried out the attack in the first place. There are a very limited set of wares who had access to this tenant, and with user visibility and with that set of permissions, only town officials who perform governance validations on the tenant to ensure all the town's secrets are being stored securely. The focus then turns to the motive. The only thing accessed was an access key stored in the key vault, which granted access to an evidence file stored elsewhere. The evidence in this file was in relation to recent cyber events this month in Wareville. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled on the following days to get to the bottom of this. Answer the questions below. That was very prosaic, I must say. What is the password for backupware that was leaked? I don't know. What is the group ID of Secret Recovery Group? think I missed that too. What is the name of the vault secret? Again, what are the contents of the secret stored into the vault? Yeah. Okay, so interestingly, we did get up to a point, but then we screwed ourselves over by logging out of that thing before we could actually find the results. So what I'm really quickly going to do for the video's sake is look up what the credentials for this particular new backupware accounts are, because that is like one question, but also it allows me to do the other ones. The tricky bit with this particular setup, and this is also why I would recommend you do it this way, is that the terminal, the Cloud Shell terminal, is not super accessible. You only get to see like, I think up to 30 lines. So if it scrolls off your screen, I think that's it. You're done. So this would always be something I would, like, if you don't want to use the Cloud Shell, you'd have to use your own thing, which I think you can easily do. You just have to use your local environment instead. But yeah, this is a little trickier. Advent of Cyber 2024 day, what is it, 16, right up. So what you'd have to do is pretty much follow all the stops. The tricky bit is that you may need to be a little bit more careful. Again, this is one of those things where I'm going to let you do some of the work yourself. Mostly because it is doable. You just need to be a little clever. And I gave you the first tip by essentially not doing starts with the first bit, but starts with the entire first name. And you're gonna have to do similar filters like that to get maybe like the output to shrink a bit so it fits on your very small screen, which in this case is tricky. But yeah, that seems to be how we're doing it. Password. So the password, oh, we found that. Okay, that was a password. Okay. So we did find this value. The first value is actually something we did find. So if we go back here, very interesting. So, oh boy.
Speed task 22 Azure day 16. The where
Here we
will
are.
speech mode off.
So the first question is, what is the password for backupware that was leaked? It's not super clear from what you see, because this is in the office location field, but that's actually the password for the WVUSR-backupware account. I thought it was a flag, but no, it's a password. And actually, you could see that because has an exclamation point at the end, which is very common for like passwords that THM likes to use. So it's a capital R3C0V3R underscore S3CR3TS exclamation point, which is the correct answer. So that's that one. What is the group ID of the secret recovery group? So this is trickier. You can do exactly what it says on the tin. It might actually even be there. Let's have a look if it's even there. Secret recovery group, I think it was called. Yeah. Display name, secret recovery group is the ID. Something we can see.
Redacted. Redacted for brevity. Description. Group for recovering Wareville secrets. Display name. Secret expiration date time. Null. Redacted for brevity. Lang. Note. You may observe that we just given the output. It can be seen that a group name secret uninterested.
Yeah. So what you would want to do for this one, and we're not going to do it now because it'll take forever, but I'd have to log in with the other thing. What you'd need to do for this one is very similar to what we did for the name one, except you'd set the filter for the display name to the secret group project, and then you would be able to grab the ID from the honestly pretty badly accessible thing. I thought Azure was better about this, but apparently it is not.
Speech space dash colon space S space colon dash 7D96,606. No selection. Answers Q2 answers SWER space colon dash space S R S space colon dash space 7D90.
I think it's just this entire field. Let's have a look.
Speech mode off.
Yeah, it's this long string. So this whole thing.
Speech mode. 7D. 9 6 not D7.
At the beginning, 7.
D 9 6 6 6 0 A dash 0 2 E 1 and dash 4 1 1 2 and dash 9 5 1 5 and dash 1 7 6 2 D 0 C B 6 6 B 7 blank blank.
That's it. I do wanna
and dash dash
make super sure we get the right
One,
dashes
dash, dash.
because medium seems to have ruined them a little bit. Is this correct?
alert woo woo. Your
It
answer
is.
correct.
Okay, so that's
Speech
that
mode
one.
off.
Like I said, you can get this by probably having to employ another filter, because otherwise it's not going to let you do it. I'm going to leave the exact specifics to you to figure out. What is the name of the vault secret? How would you find that? You would actually just follow along with the prompts. Again, depending on how many secrets there are, you might actually get into trouble with this one because you cannot filter this down. So we'll have to see. Yeah, the secret is AOC 2024. So with that knowledge, if you want to like get it the proper way, what you would do is you would filter by AOC, and that would probably get you to the right response. This is it. And what are the contents of the secret stored in it? Well, that's going to be a flag, I think. Oh, not even. Okay. So you would do that secret content, secret show, and then you do AOC 2024, and you'd land on the answer, where is my mind 1999? I'm not sure what that's a reference to, but that's apparently the answer. And that finishes us off for this day. Day 16 in the pocket. All right. I hope I didn't spoil too much and at least give people who need it the answers they needed. Go play with this. It's relatively accessible. It's pretty doable if you know a little bit around like object navigation and the way that this modal opens at the bottom of the page for some reason. You should be okay. You should be okay with doing the last bits. I hope the guidance was sufficient. Have a good day.